Hey everybody, how are you? I just thought I'd come on and say hi, and I have gotten quite a few new subscribers lately, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate you so much. And just a little introduction to me. I've had this channel about 3 years. I initially started out as just a makeup channel, and I was reviewing makeup and doing tutorials and get ready with me's and stuff like that. And then I'm on a very low budget. I have a very low income. I'm 64 years old. I'm a widow, and so it just turned out that that was something that started getting a little too expensive for me. So I eventually just turned into a vlog channel, and that's what I do now. And I have some very loyal subscribers who watch me, who I really appreciate. And so basically, I was married to Dave for about 29, 30 years. We had a great marriage. He was very, very supportive of me and my music. I have been singing, gosh, since I was born, I want to say. I mean, I have always been into music and entertainment. My dad was a great singer. My stepmom played the piano. My grandma played the piano. So we had a very musical family. And so it obviously was passed down to me. And I've been singing for a very, very long time. When I was a teenager, I took professional singing lessons. Um, I was in the all county choir, and which was quite an honor because it's the entire county of Westchester County in New York, and that was really a fantastic experience. So, yeah, my early life was basically just music, music, music. I was very isolated as a child by my father. So I really didn't have a normal life, It was just I was always in my room just playing music. So I grew up on the Osmonds, Donny Osmond, and all the teeny bopper, singers like David Cassidy, the Partridge Family, all those, teeny bopper Bay City Rollers type thing. And so, yeah, growing up, it was just music to me. And I started learning singing techniques from professional uh, lessons. And I fell in love with Crystal Gale, who has been my mentor, really. Um, that's when I really started getting into the ballads. I love to sing ballads, and I learned a lot from Crystal. I had every single album of hers, and I know a lot of her songs. So, Dave and I got married in New York. We traveled around a lot. He got an annual allotment from his father's will, so every couple of years we would move somewhere else just because he wasn't happy, in places. So we always moved around. It's funny how we always spend like 3 years in every place. Met in '82 in New York, moved out to Florida in we met in '82. We went to Florida, I want to say maybe '84, somewhere around there. Got married in '85 in Tampa, Florida. And then after a couple of years, we went to Tucson, Arizona. And I started a band out there, which never really got off the ground, but I did a couple of gigs in Arizona. And then from Arizona, we went to Dallas to be with his brother who was ill. And we stayed there for about 3 years. And then when his brother passed away, I actually sent in a tape to a TV show called the Charlie Daniels Talent Roundup, which came out of Nashville. And they actually sent me a letter and said that they would love for me to audition to be on the show. So we went and I auditioned for it and I sang a couple of Crystal Gale songs. And they told me they loved me and that, on the next season that I would be on the show. And then several months later, I found out that the show had been canceled. So that never happened. But we fell in love with Nashville. Out of all the places we had lived, to us, Nashville was the cleanest. The people were so nice. Just a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. So once my husband got his disability, he had a bad back, got hurt in Tucson. We moved to Nashville. A little bit outside of Nashville, we moved to Hermitage, which isn't very far from downtown Nashville. And so we stayed there for the rest of our lives, for the rest of his life. And I tried to get in the music business, which is really, really hard. I mean, you have to have perseverance. You really can't have any other things going on in your life. If you want to be in the music business, you have to go at it 24/7. It's a big endeavor. It's a big endeavor and takes a lot of work. Um, it helps to know people, and yeah, I mean, I had a fantastic voice, of course, but many people have good voices. It's not just that. You have to be the whole package. And I didn't play any instruments, and that was a hinder to my endeavors. So I finally decided, I did a few gigs around town, like in the bars and things like that. And then, it just became apparent that it wasn't going to happen for me. So I just stuck to my day jobs. I've been a medical secretary my entire career, also a medical transcriptionist. So, and we did, bar gigs on the weekends. And then eventually we started a country music magazine, which was the very first country music magazine ever on the internet. And it was called Country Views. And our goal in Country Views was to have a positive view of country music. So many articles and people would put down artists and always say how bad they were. And we wanted to concentrate on the positive and talk about the positive things about artists. And we were very lucky to have covered a lot of events over the 3 years that we had the magazine. Um, got backstage at a bunch of charity benefits. I met Martina McBride twice. I have an autographed photo of her here in my home. And we just basically met all the stars of the 90s when we were doing that. Joe Diffie, Colin Ray, John Barry, Martina, of course, Tracy Lawrence, Trisha Yearwood, Garth Brooks, Pam Tillis, all of those people we were able to meet and interview, and it was really a very rewarding experience, especially for somebody like me who was a huge country music fan. And it was just really, really nice. And by 1998, 99, we had pretty much had to stop because Gaylord, which is a huge corporation in Nashville, they decided to start their own website. And once that happened, we were nobody. It was like we were the big thing for a couple of years, and then all the big corporations started taking over, and we had to just quit doing the magazine. So, but then we had an opportunity to raise a child. Um, a young teenager came to us and asked us to raise her child, and we had her for 10 months, the best 10 months of my life. And then 10 months later, her mother changed her mind, so we had to give her up, and it was very devastating. Um, it haunts me to this day. And neither her mother or a lot of people just don't understand. When you can't have children, I was not able to have children physically. So a lot of people are judgmental about that. They don't understand what it's like to be given an opportunity and then have it taken away from you. So that was that. And then after that, we just, we had our life together, and my husband and I, and we eventually moved to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, in East Tennessee, because we had been there a couple of times for the Country Music Magazine, where Dollywood had put us up in hotels while we went to the park and did reviews of the park and all the shows in Pigeon Forge. So, in when did we move there? I want to say we moved there in 2009. And at first we couldn't find a place, so we lived in a motel in Gatlinburg. And we finally found an apartment in 2010 in Dolly Parton's hometown. And I got a job at Dollywood. So I really loved that job. It was fun, but it was a 12-hour job. It was really rough. But I got to meet Dolly twice. She comes to the park every year and she takes photos with all of the departments at Dollywood. And I have two of them in my bedroom of our department, which was the rides department. At first, I was in the games area, and then I was transferred over to rides for the kiddie rides, and that was a lot of fun. I sang to the kids all the time, and they loved it. I'd sing Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and If You're Happy When You Know It, Clap Your Hands. I mean, it was very, very fun. And then in 2012, 2011 was a bad year for my husband. He was in and out of the hospital with kidney problems. And 2012, he got a diagnosis of possible liver cancer and cirrhosis and he also had diabetes. So he passed away in 2013. And then I went back to Nashville. And it was very, very hard for me in Nashville when I went back. Um, didn't have a whole lot of support from anybody. My friend who let me stay with her was kind of cruel in a way. She just didn't get it, you know. And of course, I had a job for a while, about 6 months. I was a temporary clerk at State Farm. And then when I lost that job, I couldn't find a job for a long time. And it was really hard. And to be honest, I really didn't want to live anymore. So I wound up in a mental health ward for about 7 days. Um, but I came out of that, and then I moved in with a lady in her home, and I had a room, and things just weren't going well. And all of a sudden, one day, I had felt so alone since my husband died in 2013, and this was 20 the end of 2017. I was at the end, and I thought, nobody cares. I don't. Nobody cares about me. Why should I even be on this earth? And then it just dawned on me. I hadn't seen my cousins in like over 40 years. There was a big fight in our family, and my father and his brother, my uncle, stopped talking. And and at that time, my cousins and my grandmother were my only true source of unconditional love and enjoyment. My stepmother and my father weren't really emotionally supportive of me at all. I got everything materialistically. We were very wealthy. I had the best of everything, a car at 16. But as far as emotional support and being allowed to grow up and be my own person, it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. So losing my cousins and my grandmother was really, really hard. So at the end of 2017, I decided, you know what? I do have a family out there somewhere. So I went onto Facebook. A lot of people put down Facebook. But if it wasn't for Facebook, I never would have found my family again. I found my cousins and discovered that my girl cousin was up here in Vermont. She'd been up here for a long time. Well, we finally got back in touch and we FaceTimed every day, every single day. And then I came up here in May. Was it May or April? Not Memorial Day, whatever day it was, whatever holiday is at the end of April. And came up here, visited. The whole family was up here. They own a home 2 doors down from me, which is amazing. And I fell in love with everybody, and I felt like I finally found a family and that I could be happy again. So in June of that year, I moved up here from Nashville. I drove all the way up here with my cat Vivi, who I just got that morning, and we drove up here together, and I've been here ever since. I hate the winters. It's very, very cold and very snowy. I mean, it could get pretty cold in Tennessee, but we never had this amount of snow, and Vermont is quite expensive. Um, so you really have to budget accordingly. Owning a car in Vermont is really tough. Um, I think I've gone through 3 cars now in Vermont because of the wear and tear on the cars around here. The roads are not in good shape. There's lots of potholes. You have to have winter tires every year. You have to get inspected every year. Registration is very expensive for cars when you first get a car, and you know, car insurance and all that. It was really rough for the first couple of years, and most recently I had gotten a Volvo, which was a really bad mistake. Um, my family should have known better than to recommend a Volvo. Several people, I told them I was going to get a Volvo, and they didn't even tell me how expensive that car is. So it just happened that I had it for 6 months, and all of a sudden it just wouldn't start anymore, and it was getting to be a real problem. So I had to quit my job at Dunkin'. I only worked 2 days a week. And so I just, I downsized all of my bills and all of my expenses, and I sold the car, I quit my job, and now I'm fully retired. So that is my story. And as you know, singing is really a big part of my life. It always has been. So I do a lot of sing streams with Shimmer Soul. I do them with Banana Anna Lounge. Used to do a lot with the early Sunday morning with Karen M. I haven't been able to be with them lately because they're on real early, and now that I'm home, I don't have to get up early anymore, so I miss out with them. And then, of course, you know that I love to color. I'm always showing off my coloring books. So those are really my hobbies. And so this blog channel is just, a combination of talking about the weather, my cat Winnie, talk a lot about Winnie, because I love cats. And Vivi passed away over a year ago, and that was devastating. But I have Winnie now, and we're doing great. So, yeah, I mean, you can adjust yourself if you have to. Okay, even though Vermont is expensive, I got rid of the expense of the car. No more car insurance, not having to worry about snow tires. And I got rid of my cable because basically I watch YouTube for everything now. So I just have my internet and my phone, and that's it. So, you do what you got to do to survive in this world. And I'm doing great. So, thank you to everybody who has joined my channel. Just wanted to give you a little bit of intro on who I am. And I'm going to be 65 on Christmas Day, but it may be a chronological age. but I'm really not in my mind and in my attitude and in my life. I'm very young at heart. I mean, still a teeny bopper. I love Keith Urban, as everybody knows, and I have been to every single concert he has done, every tour for the past 11 years or so, and he's been a big part of my life. He got me through the devastation of losing my daughter, and I'll forever be indebted to him for that. And my other favorite artist is Louis Capaldi. As you know, I sing a lot of his songs. He is from Scotland. I adore him, and him and Ed Sheeran and Keith are all my favorite artists, and I listen to all of them a lot. Female wise, Kelly Clarkson is my favorite female as far as singing. And of course, Martina from the old days, Martina McBride. And I'm just really into the country. Martina, Loretta Lynn, Crystal Gale, all those people. So, alrighty, guys, I just wanted to give you a little story about me. And I sure hope that everybody is looking forward to Christmas. I know it's a hard year for a lot of people. This inflation is out of control. Um, there are a lot of people who can't even have Christmas this year, and I send my thoughts and prayers to you. I know it's not an easy year for anybody. So, to those who have lost loved ones this year, I love you and I'm thinking of you. And have the best Christmas that you can. And everybody take care.